Alright, so for the main deck, I'm playing 11 monsters. I'll show you off right here. So first of all, 3 copies of Traptrix Mamilio. This one is the basic search of the deck. When normal summoned, you can add a trap hole from your deck to your hand, so any trap hole. And when it's special summoned, it says a mandatory trigger that it can destroy a back row from your opponent. And then we play 3 copies of Traptrix Mantis. So this one searches the monster when it's normal summoned, and the other effect is when it's on the field, you can target one of your back row that is set, bounce it back to the hand, and then you can set one trap card back to the field, and that second effect is optional. So this one is mainly here for to trigger the effect of your Traptrix Sera, your Link 1. And then next up I play 3 of the Traptrix Dionea. So this one is when it's normal summoned, you can target one Traptrix monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and when this card is special summoned, you can target one trap in your graveyard, set it, and then in the end of your opponent's turn you get to banish that card. Now of course there's a combo in which you use the effect of Mantis to bounce that set card back to the hand and set it again, so that the card is not banished in the end of the opponent's turn. And then one Atrax and one Traptrix Nepsis. Now I might be saying these words wrong because well, they're quite hard. They're actually derived from Latin words of certain plant types and insect types. But basically this one allows you to activate trap hole cards from your hand, and this one is actually quite useful because when you activate a trap hole card while this card is on the field, you can add one Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand, or summon it right on the field. So that's it for the monsters. And then for the spells I play 1 double or nothing. Now this one is really just for the OTK. Your opponent won't see this coming really often. You are playing only rank level 4, so having this just to have an OTK, a quick victory, because you might otherwise not be able to win as easily, because you have to play a lot of monsters. Now this deck is able to spam, but it takes a while to set up. And then for the traps, of course, first trap hole cards, 1 space-time trap hole. You might bump this up to 2 if you want to, depending on the format. So basically this one does, when your opponent special summons a monster or monsters from their hand or the extra deck, you can shuffle those cards back into the deck, and then you lose 1,000 life points for each card shuffled back into the deck. So you might want to side this one out if you go into game 3 due to overtime. Then 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. So this one basically, when your opponent summons a monster that was summoned from was special summoned and activates its effect during that turn it was special summoned, you get to negate the activation of that card and destroy that card. So different from the other trap hole cards is that when your opponent activates a monster that from a monster that has already successfully been summoned, and you activate the effect, this one can actually stop that card. So this is actually your interaction with monsters if they're already on the field. And then play 2 bottomless trap hole. Of course, quite obvious. The effect is to banish a card when it's summoned with 1500 or higher attack. And then 2 floodgate trap holes. Now floodgate trap hole is quite amazing. In fact, it can just permanently book a moon your opponent's cards. The downside is, of course, links. You can't flip this link monsters face down, but you can, of course, flip down the materials that they're going to use for the link. And then we play 3 Traptrix. You might wonder why I'm not playing any of the trap hole cards. 3 of, well, they're actually they're not the best cards in the deck, and Traptrix can actually search a lot of other better cards in the deck, and I'll show you off in a bit. So first the one Imperial Order. Now we only play one spell, so Imperial Order actually doesn't hurt our decks that hard. The only thing is that you have to pay life points, but if you go against something like Sky Striker or other deck that's heavily dependent on spell cards, then you can just automatically win with this card. And then I play 2 Crackdown, just to take your opponent's monster to have just an extra interaction with your opponent. Usually just to take monsters that you're not able to deal with, and you can just use those monsters to link off into Cyframe Lambda and then continue from there. And then 2 Heavy Storm Duster, so this one is basically for your extra spell trap removal. Of course you have Milio that can also destroy spell traps, but this one is also an extra trigger for your Sera, because when you activate a normal trap you can special summon a Traptrix from your deck. And then I play 3 Storming Mirror Force. So this one, I play this one over regular Mirror Force and all the others, because this one, a lot of cards have things against destruction, and I played one game on a casual when I played against Cybers, and had a lot of monsters on the field that were not able to be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and I just set this one and waited for him to attack, and I won the game because of this one. So really good actually. And then 2 Breakthrough Skill. Basically it's another activator for your Sera, and when it's in the graveyard you can use it as well. And I'm trying this one out. If it's not that good, then I'll just cut this out and then try to play some other cards in here. But yeah, for now I'm gonna play 2 Breakthrough Skills. And then I play 3 Compulsory Evacuation Device. So this one is actually really good in this deck. You can activate it almost immediately whenever you want to, and of course another trigger for Sera to special summon Traptrix, and it's just a combo blocker for your opponent. If they waste their normal summon or they have like a really powerful link monster, you can just bounce them back to their hand, and then, well, they have may have used a lot of resources to get one monster out. And then 3 Impermanence. Now of course these are quite expensive in this deck, so for a fun deck this is quite an expensive fun deck in the way that you have to play, well, you don't have to play Impermanence, but it's a really good boost for in this deck, just to negate your opponent's cards. You could also play things like Phoenix Chain or something like that, but or more breakthrough skills, but yeah, there's a really nice hand trap also if your opponent goes first. There are not a lot of cards that can stop this card. If your opponent goes into combos, then you can just stop them with the Impermanence. And then lastly for the traps, I play 3 copies of the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. Now this card is actually a combo starter in this deck, so I'll quickly explain why I play this card in this deck. Say that you open with a Traptrix Mantis. So upon normal summon you're gonna search a Traptrix monster, then you're gonna set this card, then you're gonna link this one off for Traptrix Sera, then you're gonna use this one, the Phantom Knight of Shade Brigandine. Because you don't have any trap cards in your graveyard yet, you can activate it when you set it the first turn. So you're gonna summon it, you're gonna trigger the effect of Sera after this one has been resolved, and then you can summon another Traptrix from your deck. Usually I just special summon the Traptrix Mamilio. If you're going first, well, you're not gonna able to be destroying your opponent's backboard, but now you can go into a rank 4, and otherwise, if you have a lot of other back rows in your hand, you can just summon this one, set one of the traps, use the effect, and then trigger the effect of Sera after this one has resolved, setting another trap hole card, and then you can make a link 4, and then you usually go into things like number 41 Babushka, some things like that, Let's Fog Gates, and yeah. And last but not least, the extra deck. So of course playing 3 Traptrix Sera, so this is the main boss monster of the deck. being able to generate a lot of value out of one link monster. Of course, the most valuable thing is you can make it with only one Traptrix card. Now I play one Cyframe Lord Lambda, purely to link away any monsters you don't need, and then just continue in link climbing, or open up extra monster card zones to spam even more. And then one Ball Load Dragon just to get rid of opponent's monsters. Of course, you're going to use Lambda to use your opponent's cards, like with Crackdown, and then climb into this one and then win from there. And then I play the Utopia package, of course, so one double or nothing, Utopia double, one Utopia, one S-Utopia Prime, and one Utopia Lightning. So basically I play these three just to bump it up, so I can use its effect twice if I want to. I had extra space left, so I put this one in. And this one occasionally wins games or gets rid of your opponent's monsters that you can't deal with otherwise. And then of course the one Babushka I talked to you about. Then one Traptrix Raphasia. This one actually protects your cards. I didn't read this card as well, but basically this one protects your Traptrix card from not being able to be destroyed by card effects. And it is also unaffected by traps. So this is actually quite a nice setup. So to have extra back row. So I have 5 back row plus this one, so you actually have 6 back row. And then I play one Abyss Dweller, well, just a staple. Then one Tornado Dragon, extra back row removal. And then I play these two. Because your opponent might have a really strong board, you can just make this and then go into this, and you just negate all your opponent's monsters, and then you try to get rid of their board. And yeah, that's it for the deck profile. So leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.